Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Surya Koti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kurumedeva Sarvakarishu Sarvam Ganganapate Namaha Om Shri Mahaganadipate Namaha Om Shri Sadgurubhyo Namaha Om Aim Brim Klim Chamandai Viche Swaha Sarvamangala Mangale Shive Sarvartha Sadike Sharanitramike Gauri Narayani Namostute Om Aim Brim Klim Chamundai Viche Sarvamangala Mangale Shive Sarvartha Sadike Sharanitramike Gauri Narayani Namostute Om Rim 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 Shrim 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 Klim 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 Namaha. Welcome to Nitya Satsang. This is Sachin Karnik. The question of desire is a protracted question in our Angel Wing program as well as in the daily Satsang recordings. There is extensive discussion regarding Ichha Shakti, Ichha meaning desire. The desires that exist within each being have energy within them. The word for energy in the Sanskrit language is Shakti, S-H-A-K-T-I. This is the universal power that governs the entire creative system. That entire energy structure has a source. That source is only one and it is infinite. Now, in the Hindu tradition, that is called Devi or Mool Prakriti or Mahashakti. And it is underneath that intense power in the Western traditions that would be called God or the infinite consciousness in the non-dualistic tradition. So the great extraordinary power that flows through all of us is present in dynamic ways in different experiences throughout one's life. One of the experiences is, of course, human sexuality. But that's not the only one. There are relationships, there are tourist experiences, there are work experiences, there are experiences across dimensions in life. These experiences are only possible due to the existence of this same power. Once this energy goes from the mind, from the brain, from the body, there is no more life. Now, many practices have evolved over time in the Eastern traditions and Western traditions to try to transmute the internal power that we have into a much more refined, much more harmonious state. Now that is the great mystery of Tantra, Tantra. It is the mystery of realizing that there is nothing other than the movement of energy within one system, but the movement of energy is happening within the three gunas of Maya, the three qualities of Maya, Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas. So having said that, in the Rajas modality, there is the intense attraction for the opposite sex. There's no question about that. It is a limited phenomena. It can be extended, it can be expanded also through different techniques. But the fact of the matter is that it is a movement of energy within the Rajas, R-A-J-A-S. So having said that, there is the development of internal wisdom that can come out of this. The internal wisdom is with regards to how to utilize any kind of energy we have. So whether it is our internal power, financial power, or any other kind of power, it is utilized in a specific way for a specific purpose. Now, the interesting part about this is that the conservation of energy, like for example, when brahmacharya is present, brahmacharya is the sex energy conservation. That's one of its aspects, at least. Brahmacharya actually means to revolve within the infinite consciousness. When it is conserved from inside, without suppression or without the current of indulgence, then there is a profound clarity and profound opening that can potentially happen where desire itself diminishes. And it can grow again. It can diminish and grow, diminish and grow. That is the movement of desire. So we have talked about this before in terms of uh, quantity, quality, direction, dimension, depth, and structure. These 6 aspects are present in all 5 of thought, emotion, memory, desire, and energy. So each one of the 5 has these 6 aspects, and then they all intersect together to give us the experiences of life. So having said that, there is still the abiding question, is there such a thing as total transmutation of this infinite power? So in a relationship, in people who are involved in any kind of relationship, let's say it's a couple that is together, or in any context of a intimate relationship, there is the activation of rajas, rajas, the rajogun, as it is described in so many scriptures of India, and then it's described in other ways in the biblical tradition, and it's also described in many theories of psychology, with regards to the way the brain functions, the reward circuitry, all those kinds of things. So having said that, the question still remains, is it possible to completely transmute the internal power at such a level where the desire has become completely evolved into a different state and it remains there without falling back? Now, that would be called a siddha, S-I-D-D-H-A. In the scriptures, that is called a siddha, S-I-D-D-H-A. Such a being is a total master of the internal movement of energy. Now, many attractive women, for example, they have a lot of mastery in terms of this movement of energy with regards to the other sex. Like, for example, in a heterosexual context, when a woman is very, very attractive, woman has a capacity to look at a man, to touch a man, to talk to a man, her voice, etc., can activate the flow of this power in terms of the movement of it towards the experience of pleasure and enjoyment, which is what is called hedonic circuitry in the brain. All right, so having said that, that power that the woman has is actually inside the heterosexual male, because the spirit, the soul, is not male or female. It is Brahman, Brahman. It is Satchit Anand. It is truth, consciousness, bliss. It is divine. It is divinity. The divinity is beyond male and female. So the question is, when a very, very attractive response occurs, psychologically, neurologically, experientially, because it is definitely experience, as it is described in the philosophy of mind called qualia. So from that first person direct experience, there is the possibility of abiding in the great stillness with the wisdom of the movement of the rajas, sattva, and tamas, with the movement of the mind within the 3 gunas of Maya. But that wisdom, it doesn't abide. Even if it abides, the question is still about the experience itself, that the extraordinary experience has its own reality, has its own truth behind it, has its own dimension behind it, which is not a question of denying it, it's a question of realizing that it's there. But this is the great mystery. Is it possible to completely evolve out of it? Is it possible to evolve out of it without suppression, without indulgence, where the extraordinary, beautiful female in the male body, for example, is appreciated in the real sense, without any kind of psychosomatic fragmentation? And in terms of the Tantra practice, it is holding the seminal energy, the semen energy inside, without discharging, or one may want to discharge at some point to get to the end of that process. But what is that beauty? I mean, where is the beauty? So if I'm saying I see a beautiful person outside, is the beauty in the outside person, or is it inside of me that is reflected in the outside person? This is the question. So it is a question of reflection. Now, this takes us back to non-dual Shaiva Tantra, the multiple scriptures that have been written by the great sages from the Himalayas. So in the non-dual Shaiva tradition, there's a contraction and expansion that is talked about. A contraction is where there is the Shiva that is experiencing itself as the Jiva. In the expansion, there is the Jiva that goes back into the Shiva, the consciousness itself. And that is the big mystery of Prakriti, the play of Prakriti, the play of Maya, that there is such a intense power at play to propagate the species. The sexual response cycle, the orgasmic experience, the post-orgasmic experience, the refractory period, all of this has been placed by the divine for us to evolve and grow into a new level of realization. It is a path, no doubt, but it is a difficult path. It is a very, very a misunderstood path also. So the question still remains: can a person afloat on desire? Can you float on desire, like a person is floating in the swimming pool or is floating in the river of water without drowning inside that experience? But nonetheless, the experience is real. It is qualitatively real. It is subjectively real. The experience of an orgasm, for example, the experience of any pleasure. Put a strawberry shortcake in your mouth, and there's an experience for that. There's an experience of food, and there's an experience of the senses. The experience is very, very real. The question still becomes: is it possible to do something extraordinary with that experience without denying it? I mean, obviously, the experience, it is qualitatively, subjectively a first-person experience. Where does that come from? Why is it there? What is its cause? These are all very difficult questions. There are a lot of answers, but in philosophy of mind, there's something called the explanatory gap, which actually doesn't, which is the gap within that doesn't, which is the gap that these philosophers do not know how to answer this question: where is the first person experience actually coming from? I put sugar in my mouth, it has a certain taste. What is the cause of that? What is the cause of my experience of that? How does anybody explain that? You can do brain scans, you can do all different kinds of things, but that doesn't mean that this is actually understood that clearly. So these are some reflections for now, and we shall continue further later.